VPN at technophilespodcast.com. I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's show. We are back. This is part 2 of episode 284. We just got done talking about Facebook's Sports Stadium in part 1, and now I am here with V-Labs, Krista Lee, and Jake Gill. And Jake, we are talking about KrowdFit, I think.
Yeah, we're talking about KrowdFit. So this is it's an article that I found on GeekWire. And they were just kind of talking about, small Seattle-based company raised $2.45 million in funding. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. So what are they doing? KrowdFit, interesting name.
I mean, there's a lot of fit apps out there.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot of wearables. There's a lot of different things. But KrowdFit, to me, it was interesting because this is a company that essentially says, hey, get healthy, track your progress. And while you're doing that, one of the ways that we're going to incentivize you is by having giveaways, cash prizes, basically, for our members. And so you're doing these things, and it's not like they reward people for, cheating or just being like, I'm the healthiest person today. So every single month, though, it's a random drawing of money, and it's like $125, $250. $5,000, there's like some good money in there too. And so this company, they raised some money. I think they're up to like $3 million in funding that they raised now. And, I just find it really interesting that this is a company where essentially people are saying, I want to get healthy. And one of the ways that I'm going to incentivize myself for doing that is pooling money with other people that are also having a similar goal and rewarding people who are making progress on it.
Nice. Yeah, I use a couple biking apps, and one of them does the thing where it'll kind of make little GPS. You'll have larger courses, and then it'll make routes inside the courses, and
sure.
It almost turns that route into a racetrack, and anybody else who does it in your proximity, and you can get little top 10 lists, and and it makes you, when you hit that part of the Oak Leaf Trail again, you push a little harder because last time you were in 5th place, and it's basically takes biking and turns it almost into Mario Kart and stuff like that. Right, it's a lot of fun, and you can earn medals and stuff, and that's pretty motivating. But this is a whole nother level. Yeah,
this is really unique. So a little bbit more about this. Obviously, one of the large incentives here is to win cash. But one of the other things that I think they're doing, or a few of the other things that are doing, they're kind of interesting, is, so this is a monthly service. It's a subscription-based model. I think they might have started as corporate accounts. So they have this yearly account thing for companies. And they're hey, we want to make sure, incentivize our people to, be a little bit more active and healthy and do all these things, because they kind of recoup these expenses in the long term just with healthier people. They have to pay less insurance out or whatever, right?
Sure. Oh man, that's brilliant.
But so now they opened it up. They had a lot of people. What had happened, and I think if I was reading this article correctly, is a lot of people were leaving their company, or they're just hey, I'm not, I don't necessarily want to be doing this through my job, but I want access to what you guys are doing. Right. Can you guys bring this down to the personal individual level? And so I said, yeah, sure. We're going to do this on a monthly subscription level. But one of the really unique things about this model is that they also allow you to lease wearables. And so you have your account and you pay $12.99 a month or something. But if you're I don't have a Fitbit or a Jawbone or any of these other kinds of things, they're okay, for an additional fee.
Oh my God.
We'll send you one.
But
once you've kind of paid it off, or after 12 months or whatever, it's yours to keep forever. So what's really interesting to me is and I wrote this down here in my notes, is this is kind of cell phone companies in a way, where they're we don't provide the technology, the hardware, but we'll give you the data plan and the incentive and things, and then you can lease your device until you own it. And so while you're doing this, one of the other added bonuses is when you start doing these things, you can potentially win some money. So
it's
just
really
wild.
Good old-fashioned raffle.
Good old-fashioned raffle.
You basically get raffle tickets as a currency.
Yep.
In a good old-fashioned raffle, and I don't know. Maybe that's not so bad.
Hey. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, one of the things is are we really at the point though where we can't even like, oh, I'm not exercising unless I get money.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
To bribe me.
I mean, it's a really interesting market.
It's
But
not
like,
like-
it's clearly,
It's
it's
not
got
even
to
like
be.
guaranteed. It's like
That's not
the
even
lottery.
guaranteed.
Or
and-
if you
Yeah.
are someone who exercises already anyway, maybe you'd be more inclined to use this besides
maybe.
some other app. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it like if this were to like I haven't found out if this like syncs to HealthKit and stuff on iOS or some of the other things.
I mean, they do integrate in with Fitbit and other stuff.
So maybe even inadvertently it does.
Yeah.
By changing that, that data links from one app to
right.
another.
And I think you get rewards, like, you get extra additional Raffle. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like if you're, because there's like working out, but there's also like, what are you eating?
Yeah.
All these different things. So like you're really, the more you're tracking, the potential for being in the running is a little bit higher. Although they did say like, we don't want to disincentivize people who are like, we might have people that are like every single day working out. They're not going to win. They're not guaranteed to win, which I think is really, really interesting there. So, everyone's kind of on equal footing there. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. This is a small company. I think they have a really unique vision. And it's like, wow, crowdsourcing just seems to me to be kind of everywhere. It's like we have people are crowdsourcing TV shows. They're crowdsourcing. Well, now we're just crowdsourcing like our own health habits, which is really bizarre. So yeah, I don't know.
Are these rewards literally money, or are they like?
No, they're literally money. Yeah,
Yeah.
like checks in the mail
So it's not like
and big checks too. If you get like the 5K, you've got like the
Seriously.
I'm a winner giant check. Yeah, I was looking on their website. I was poking around their website,
and you
it was
can't
like,
not take a picture of that.
exactly
Yeah.
right. So I mean,
Amazing.
I don't
For
know.
them.
Do you guys have like wearables? Are you any of you on those things? I have a Fitbit.
Yeah, I don't have a wearable, but we're actually going to be talking about wearables in our second topic on our next live show. But
cool.
we'll save that. It's like still a couple episodes away. I don't have a wearable, but I track a lot of health stuff. I'm at the point where I'm still kind of using just the accelerometers and stuff in my phone to do those things. But where I really do it is I really track a lot of my biking. I run a couple different apps for all my GPS and all that kind of stuff. It's not really getting my heart rate. I do record my heart rate with a different app using just the thing where you put your finger on the whatever.
Sure.
Whatever. So that's me. I don't wear any wearables, but I think I'd love to. I haven't finally picked one yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm really into like the recording your health statistics.
I like the data.
I have an app here that literally just records how much caffeine I take in during the day just to make sure that's good.
I don't want to see
I have
my
one.
stats on that one.
Well, it's funny. That's the thing is like you start realizing how much you are, and then you can dial it down, and it's okay, and whatever.
Sure.
I don't know. How about you girls?
Well, I don't have any wearables. As far as apps on my phone, I use them off and on because once I have the habit established, I'll stop using the app. And I think this is why I don't have any wearables because my thought is most of them for my perspective, are a little expensive knowing that I'll probably only temporarily use it.
Right.
Right. So that's why I prefer the apps where it's like, even if I pay like
Try
a
it
couple
out.
dollars, I use it for a couple of months.
Or it's
and
like
then
when
I'm done.
people like use a calorie counter app for a year to like lose some weight or something.
Yeah.
After a year, they kind of have a concept of what's 200 calories, 500 calories,
Right.
and it tends to fade a bit.
Yeah, it
Right.
kicks off that
And that's
habit,
fine.
But,
Or
yeah.
like or like people who use like the Wii balance board for their yoga or something, right? For their
yeah.
and then eventually you don't really need the Wii balance board anymore. Let's
Right,
face it,
yeah.
to do your slightly ill-performed yoga.
I just wanted to point out that on the link that Jake gave us beforehand, it said next $1 million drawing.
Whoa.
So I don't know how often they're doing that, but I thought
In 2 days.
our listeners, excuse me, might be interested in, like, $1 million, maybe I will go buy that.
Yeah. That's a lot of money. Well, and it's interesting too because like users are paying for this service and part of that money, is going into this pool.
Sure.
But KrowdFit, this company, is also for every X number of users, maybe like 5,000 users or something, they're putting money in from them as well into the pool. So, and I kind of wondered like, so obviously like paying for something, you're probably going to use it for a little while. But like you were saying, like one of the concerns is, once I'm comfortable with it, or like the data's tracking, or I'm not seeing a lot of progress, whatever the reasons, a lot of people are going to stop. So I wonder if it's just like maybe they found, and the key here is like if we can have that one extra incentive that is completely unrelated to the thing you're doing, maybe that's enough to keep people going.
Yeah.
Maybe to keep people checking in and logging their data every single day, or every single month, because hey, they never know, they might be the lucky winner.
So maybe the leasing the hardware thing would be a good idea for someone like Chris to Lee. I can't help but notice here too. It's so the corporate clients, according to this article on GeekWire, written by Taylor Soper, says that the corporate clients were paying $720 a year to have access to the platform, but then the user subscription fees is $12.99 a month.
$12.99 a month.
$12.99 a month is a couple dollars more than a Netflix account or a Hulu account and stuff like that, and I don't think that's unreasonable, not at all.
No, especially for like a small niche company, like
Right.
they're 10 employees, but those people got to eat, and
Right,
this lets them do their
absolutely.
thing. So
Yeah.
What I wonder, if I may, I'm actually a big fan of what's going on here, but what is there besides the Raffle thing? What's the motivation for paying $12.99 instead of just using other apps that are free?
right.
So for
Well,
some,
are they free though? Because you're like buying the device.
So, so like every app that I use is free, but I haven't purchased a wearable yet.
okay.
So that's true.
So here's what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
yeah, all the apps I've used are free.
Yeah.
This, because you can pay just a little bit extra per month for the device. I'm not saying I'm necessarily going to go out and get it, but I can see myself doing it because I don't have to plop down the $100, $200 right away.
Yeah.
Right, it's not
You
the
see what I'm
one-time fee,
saying?
and that's what I meant
Right.
by like the
That's
cell
really
phone thing,
appealing.
right? It's
Right,
not
exactly.
You don't have to go out and buy the device. It's like, no, I'm just going to lease the device, or
Exactly.
And that might be the
Pay
thing.
it off.
That
Right,
might be the
right.
thing where
Just to break it up into those
right.
increments.
This $12.99, does that go towards the lease of the device, or is that for the
I
subscription?
think
of
the
Oh, it's all
device
kinda-
is extra.
Yeah,
device is extra.
I think it's like
Too.
$4 or $6
Sure.
a month
Oh,
or
that's
something. Yeah.
not bad.
But even still, then you're talking about like for someone like me who doesn't own my own device, you're
Sure.
talking about in total less than $20.
Yeah.
And like it's
Well,
easy
per month, though.
right, per month,
Yeah,
per
per
month.
month.
But still, like
Yeah.
the fact is, like each time you use that credit card, write the check, whatever, for less than $20 is a lot easier than
I'm going to
you
be
know.
Yeah.
Jake,
down.
Making
forgive
a
me.
long-term
For the sake of the
commitment.
conversation, I'm going
Right,
to be a hater for a second.
Sure, no,
Again,
not at
I
all.
think this is great. I love the crowdfunding thing. How is this not just lottery tickets and you increase your chances if you work out more?
Yeah, right. No, I'm not sure.
You know
Why
what I mean?
is that a bad thing?
I'm not necessarily saying it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that what it is?
I think that's what it sounds like.
All right, that's cool.
But I'm okay with that.
All right,
I
yeah.
buy.
I mean,
buy
but it's
the
like,
occasional
okay,
lotto
so let's
ticket.
put this into some other perspective of like, I mean, maybe this is like goes back to like, I think of my dad and like his friends. We used to always go on to Florida every single year for spring break. And so it would be like, something really to look forward to, middle school, elementary school, high school, whatnot. But like for my dad, I just specifically remember right around, the new year, right? You spend all this time eating and then you're like, I'm going to go to the beach.
Sure.
I'm going to, have my shirt off. Like I want to look good. And so what they would do is be like, let's get on a scale. Right? We would go with a bunch of families, and all the guys, all the men would get on a scale, weigh themselves, and be like, all right, when we arrive in Florida, we're getting on a scale again.
Yeah.
Whoever is the biggest loser gets dinner, money, whatever
Yeah.
that prize pool is. And like, I mean, that incentivized them. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is the golden ticket.
Having
I
it
think
be
that this is
material instead
this
of
is
just
cheaper than a
self-satisfaction.
gym, but more expensive than free health apps.
Unless you win, then you're free rolling.
Right.
You just got to win.
It's
I
in
keep
the
forgetting. I keep forgetting about this win thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$12.99 a month, you can, it's crazy.
So
So
you
you're
know what?
paying to be in a lottery, but like you're getting the added benefit of
Increase your
hopefully being
chances.
healthy.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the other thing and I know there's other people that work
Or
like
maybe
this
it's the
too.
other way around.
So I don't like straight working out, but I'll do things like I will take classes like yoga, tai chi,
Sure.
dance, whatever. And I never skip them ever, right? Because I paid for that.
Right.
So I'm going
Yeah.
to get my use out of
Yes.
it.
Right.
So if I
Yeah.
pay for this every month, I feel like that,
Sure.
whether I win or not, that might also be motivation because it's like, I just dropped, $12.99. I got to go take a walk.
But don't
because
people,
otherwise
like-
I wasted my $12.99.
Don't people pay for gym memberships and not go though?
Right. So the thing with the
Yeah.
gym membership is that
You have to
because
go
with a
there.
classes are actually really smart, and that's sometimes why people like classes, because it's a specific scheduled event.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you miss it or you don't. You hit it or you don't.
Yep.
There's
And when the
humans there
gym
that
is
are
just
expecting you.
always there, you go, oh,
Yeah.
I should go this afternoon. Okay, fine, I'll go tonight. Oh, I should go tonight. Okay, fine, I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I should go tomorrow. Okay, I'll go next week. And that's eventually what happens, kind of almost with everybody, unless you're really, really, really refocused. You know what I mean? Somewhere around 5 or 6 months in, a lot of people statistically fade for that reason.
It's probably more like the first month, and I feel like if you're not building that, because you need to build that positive habit of
Yeah.
daily things, right? So maybe it's just one of those things. Maybe they're just onto something here where it's like you come in and you might be drawn in because it's not like this service. Well, obviously, we haven't downloaded the app or anything, but
Right.
like the general concept is nothing really new. But
I don't know
the
if there's any
incentive-
data here that you
Yeah.
can't get elsewhere, but
But if you're kind of motivated by, hey, I could be a winner, then you're going to build that positive habit.
Right. You're right.
So you're building
You're right.
up this daily habit. All of a sudden, you've done this for a month, and,
Yeah.
and it's a no-brainer. Now I'm just doing it automatically.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I brought it in today, like I
see
said,
it.
is kind of, these are definitely things, people, you see so many devices in wearables and health tracking. I mean, like Fitbit and everybody, huge advertising dollars are going into attracting people. And here's one of those places where it's like, well, this is a new take. This is definitely kind of a different way of looking at how to
Yeah.
corner this market. And yeah.
I think for me, like the thing is when you're in the middle of a workout, and most of the time it's like when I'm in the middle of a bike ride, but then sometimes it's a workout or whatever. But you get to that point where you kind of want to stop. You're 3/4 of the way in. It's easy to say like I'm tired, but you know you should go a little further. Sometimes with biking, it's nice because you literally still have to get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a really nice feature.
Don't want that walk of
biking.
shame, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you've gone, 15 or 20 miles out, you're
you
coming
gotta-
back
you
15
gotta
or
turn
20
around,
miles,
for
like
sure.
it or not. And there's a few times in my life where I might have gone out a little too far and I'm coming back like, but usually it works out.
Yeah.
But again, if I may, when you hit those moments where you're tired and you kind of maybe want to stop, for me, that thing, that Mario Kart joke I made earlier was enough motivation. But maybe if it was like you could make some money, that's what I'm really trying to say is when you're at the worst of the worst in the middle of your workout and you come up with every single excuse in the world why you want to stop in that moment.
Yep.
Even just the illusion of a raffle, and this is not an illusion, there is a
Yeah.
raffle,
Yep.
is enough to
Absolutely.
get you going another minute,
Yep.
and another minute, and
Yep.
another minute.
Could be.
And that works.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. The founder of this company previously was doing like credit card rewards company. You know what I mean? And so like
so
this
it's
is
like
like it's
something.
the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Similar
repurposed. Smart.
It's cool.
So yeah, it's cool.
I love it. It's kind of a quick little half here, but I think we're good. That's your? Would you consider that your closing comments and all that?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think this is? So you have the Fitbit, right? You're wearing a Fitbit right now.
I do have a Fitbit, yes.
And you sync that to a number of Fitbit apps, or just kind of one central app?
No, I just have the Fitbit app.
The Fitbit app.
I'm kind of a data nerd myself. I like the sleep tracking. I work from home, so I probably don't see enough steps.
Sure.
But it's cool to. It's just there. I also really like. I'm into the haptic stuff too. So for me, like having alarms where they just buzz me,
Yes.
is super nice. I don't like the noises, but I can handle a little bit of like, hey Jake, here, be mindful for a moment. That's
I
really nice to me.
remember talking about this thing called the Fitbit that's coming out in a while on this show like years ago.
Yeah.
Somewhere, I don't know, season 2 or 3 or 4 or something. We were like,
What were the
this is
you're
gonna-
like?
We thought it was
were you
great.
like it's gonna be awesome?
We thought,
It's
well,
huge.
you saying the haptic thing is what made me remember that we actually
yeah.
had a Fitbit episode years ago because we thought it was bonkers awesome that you could get woken up just by something going like, boop, you know what I mean? Or
That's
that
kind
it
of the
would.
coolest part.
I think the Fitbit would do the thing where it can kind of tell if you're in a REM or not, and then wake you up at the right time with the dynamic
Yeah.
alarms.
Whoa.
I think, right?
What was it, like pizzazz?
I think you can set it up so that it
That
had.
does
Well, it can based
I haven't
on
found that mode.
it can track your
but-
sleep. Maybe it's not Fitbit, but I really think it might be.
There are like sleep tracking apps that'll do that, and
Yeah.
you like put
It-
your
There
phone
might-
on
It
the
knows
bed,
waves,
Oh,
it knows
boy.
how-
and then they sense your movement, and then when they're like,
Right.
oh no, he's cool, he's not in REM anymore. Like let's
So
wake him up.
I used to run one of those just to experiment, and it was fine. But you have to sleep with your phone. It's really weird.
Yeah, and
You know?
it doesn't really work if you're like, married or whatever. You're sharing a bed,
Right.
then all of a sudden that data gets weird.
Absolutely. Right now, I run a sleep app where it literally just kind of when you put the phone down, I have it set up. It like waits 10 minutes. Kind of guesses that's about when I've fallen
Sure.
asleep. And when I pick it up in the morning, try to find spikes and guess how long works
Yeah.
fine for me. Super
Yeah,
simple.
yeah.
I would much rather have it actually track my sleep with a wearable. And I'm starting to wonder if this whole dynamic alarm thing was actually a jawbone. Either way, wearables, the jawbone? I don't know if it's around so much anymore. I don't know if the jawbone really survived. It was the one that would wrap around like this. It was almost like a stick, and it would wrap around.
Oh, is
Bracelet?
that the one that would go like that to wake you up? Where it actually
No.
jumped?
No,
that's
that was
not.
that was
No,
just
Jawbone
a-
and Fitbit are almost identical. They came out at
Okay.
similar times. It was a little bit of a Blu-ray HD-DVD kind
As
of
you
situation.
Can tell, I'm
Oh.
not into wearables.
I think Mark Tassman had a Jawbone on, but I could
Oh,
be wrong.
okay.
Anyway, the concept of a dynamic alarm is really,
Sure.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can tell like when it's the best time to wake you up,
Right.
and
I
not
can-
wake you up with just a screaming thing.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Fitbit's waterproof and everything, obviously, right?
I feel like they're water resistant.
Resist, like you can take a shower with them.
Yeah,
You
they
probably don't
really
wanna go swimming
They're
with 'em.
like you probably don't want to. I don't know.
Mhm.
I take mine off in the shower.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that's cool. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to break. Jake, thanks so much for bringing that story.
No problem.
If people want to tweet you about it, if they have any questions about this, because you're obviously the expert,
I'm the expert.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
they can find you on Twitter
At Critical Owl. Yeah, I'm
Fantastic.
on Twitter and we can connect up there. Yeah.
Sounds great. Crystal Lee, if people are looking to talk to you and tell you what a jawbone is, they can tweet you at...
They can tweet me at GamerAnthro, but also tweet me if you know of something that will dynamically wake me up because I hate alarms.
Remember that smell alarm thing we did a few months ago?
Yes!
Yeah.
We did a story about like, this group that made an alarm clock that releases smells,
To wake
not
you-
sound.
Yeah.
And you have little smell cartridges and it conditions you and stuff like that. Sensor Wake. It was called
interesting.
Sensor
It was
Wake. It was like a year ago.
interesting. It's very
Some of the
interesting.
scents were really weird. There was the obvious ones, cinnamon rolls, like summer day, spring air. But then there was money. was like one of the smells.
Yeah.
The smell of money.
I want to wake up to money
Super weird.
Yeah.
every day.
I would like to wake up to
Where is
real
it?
money in piles
Yeah.
on the
Smell
floor.
money.
Nothing gets me up in the morning like the smell of money.
V, if people want to find you on Twitter, they can do that where?
They can find me at bear_Annika.
Marvelous. We love it when people tweet the show at Technophiles Pod or find us on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube by searching Technophiles Podcast. Of course, they can go to our actual website, technophilespodcast.com, to find links from this show and some of our other shows like Branching Dialogue, the Technophiles Newscast, some of our other news shows that we have this year, Sci-Fi Science, hosted by one Crystal Lee Malone right over here. We're already an episode in on that one. It went really, really well.
Yep.
They can tweet Sci-Fi Science at Sci-Fi Science
Science
TPN.
Correct.
Sci-Fi Science is already taken. Duh.
No.
We threw the TPN
Few
at the
few
end.
years late on that one, probably.
Yeah. A few years late. I love it. I love it. Well, okay, we're going to come back for part 3 where we're going to be talking about better batteries. Crystal Lee, can't wait. In the meantime, people can find me on Twitter at Raptor Paint.